Good afternoon or good evening, everybody, depending on what part of the world you're in. This is Roaming Prepper Channel. I'm your host, Pete. And today I want to finish what the conversation was on my Monday live stream, which unfortunately I drove into a dead zone, and that was the end of the live stream. Um, Physics doesn't lie. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about a little more about what I was discussing as far as the physics and why those kind of crashes, such as the Iranian president had, are so catastrophic. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about aerodynamics. All right, folks. Well, as you can hear, the dogs are playing with dog toys behind me. This is Roaming Prepper Channel. Thank you once again for joining me. If you have any questions, I usually make my own premieres. Sometimes I do not. Make sure to leave your questions in the comments if I miss the premiere, and I will try to answer them as promptly as I can. I usually get back to my subscribers within a couple of days. So anyway, we all by now know that the Iranian president has was killed, you know, a few days ago in a helicopter crash. Now, there was some speculation it was the Mossad, the CIA, the Iranians did it to themselves, the Chinese, the Russians, whoever. I don't want to talk about that. One thing I did see a lot of comments on was the picture of the crash. It would show the tail section and then just burnt out stuff. And they're like, that's suspicious. That's where's the wreckage? In reality, helicopter dynamics, and I'm speaking as a guy who did his undergraduate in aerospace engineering, and that included aircraft design, helicopter design, stuff like that. A helicopter, in order for it to stay aloft with a rotating blade above it, is not very heavy by itself. The frame is actually rather fragile. So when a helicopter, especially a civilian helicopter, when they hit the ground, especially if they flew into a mountain, it's going to just turn the helicopter to pieces, right? If you look at the Malaysian Airlines jet that got shot down over Ukraine back in 2022, when the war, but just before the full blown war between Russia and Ukraine started, where there were Russian rebels helping the insurgents and all that nonsense. Um, the Malaysian plane was hit by a missile, and the pieces were everywhere. Like it was the debris field was huge, at least hundreds of yards, not bonk in one place. Um, Helicopters, when they hit the ground, remember the body contains the fuel. So if it had just refueled, it was flying to a new destination, and bam, it hits a mountain. Uh, it's done. Now, could it have been shot down? Yes. Could it have been a bomb? Absolutely. But you're going to see evidence of that in the wreckage. For instance, a surface to air missile, and I got my handy dandy airplane here. Surface to air missile will not actually always hit the plane and blow up on the plane. It will detonate in proximity to the aircraft and spray the plane with uh, fragmentation and pellets. That's how they figured out the Malaysian Airlines jet was shot down. What people need to realize is you don't have to destroy an airplane or an aircraft to take it down. You just need to not make it aerodynamic anymore. And that's a lot easier than it sounds. Just by screwing up enough of the wing surface, you can take the aircraft down. So, if it was a missile, surface to air missile like a Stinger or an SA-7, or if it was a bomb internally, there's going to be evidence of that. And I promise you, Iran's and their friends are going to broadcast the crap out of it and put videos of everything. More than likely, at least my initial opinion, is that it was a mechanical failure, in which case the chopper hit the mountain, or because of the fog, air traffic control and the pilot miscommunicated and they literally flew into a mountain, which is exactly what happened. I forgot the name of the basketball player from a couple of years ago. He was in a high end helicopter. Same thing happened. Bam, right into a mountain. Also foggy, smoky, cloudy day. So there are inherent risks, even with the technology, even with radar. Um, a helicopter pilot makes a mistake in rugged terrain and you're toast. Now, why are those crashes so much worse? Why do they hit so much harder than an airplane? Well, again, we'll go back to my aircraft, right? You notice, and this is a model, the wings are curved, right? So, Bernoulli's principle, the airflow over the top, if this plane's moving 100 miles an hour, the airflow over the top is going to be faster than beneath because there's a curvature to it. A faster moving airflow creates a pressure differential. It creates lift. Think of if you're smoking a cigar in your car, right? You crack the window, the smoke goes out. Why? Because the air going around the car is moving faster than the air in the car, relatively speaking, and it creates a suction, a vacuum effect. It's same principle. I'm simplifying it a bit, but you guys get it. Um, if the plane's motor goes out, now this is a pull, right? Because it's a prop plane, even if it was a jet, which is pushing from the back, if the motor goes out, the aircraft typically, there are some exceptions like the B-2 bombers inherently unstable, but a plane like this one with a big wide wingspan and a big aspect ratio can glide. So what you've done is taken a powered aircraft and created a glider. A competent pilot, if he still has control of his flaps and ailerons, can maneuver the plane and try to find a safe place to land and can actually even pitch the nose up at the last minute to try and land on his wheels. A helicopter, on the other hand, let's say this is a helicopter, has this rotating blades up here. The rotation of the blades is what creates the lift. Once the lift stops, the engine fails, the rotors break, whatever. Or as a Cold War prepper said, the Jesus nut, which is one of the primary nuts holding the blades, something fails, the aircraft is an egg. If you've looked at a helicopter, it's a round thing. It's not meant to glide on its own. Again, what brings a plane into the air is not the thrust of the engine. The engine simply creates the forward motion. It's the flow around the wings that creates the lift. And a helicopter has no wings. And the blades are its wings. Now, one thing it can do, they can auto rotate, which is basically let the props kind of free fly as the helicopter's coming down and it catches the wind. It's almost like a parachute effect. It'll slow the chopper down. But if they don't have enough altitude to conduct that maneuver, if they've lost their controls entirely, they're pretty much in a free fall, which is why these crashes, when they hit, bam, they hit hard right in one spot. It hits so hard that the body of the helicopter will just go to pieces. And so when we're looking at that picture, you see the tail section, probably because it hit heavy end first, which was the cockpit first. The tail was up in the air and it just blew apart and then it landed. So the debris field I saw in that picture, and again, we're going by like three pictures on the internet, is not surprising. Again, could it have been shot down? Yes. Could it have been a bomb? Sure. It could have just been bad maintenance. It could have been a vehicle failure. Now, you would think Iran has enough money to train good pilots and get competent equipment, especially for their damn president. But still, accidents happen, even with the best intentions. So, in any case, for those of you who are wondering the physics behind why helicopter crashes are so abrupt and so devastating. Whereas airplane crashes, you sometimes do get survivors, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they can crash land. Helicopters usually don't crash land, they just crash. That's kind of the physics behind it. In any case, I wanted to leave you with that one. A little bit of science, what got away from the prepping tonight. In any case, you guys, God bless, Godspeed. I will see you all on the next video. Be safe out there.